This is Canon Productions. My name is Aaron Harrison. Today I'm with
Coach Lanier.
He is the head coach for the Claxton High School girls soccer team, and today we're going to ask him some questions about the girls' success. Coach?
This year has been really interesting. This is the first year this group of girls has had the same head coach back to back. This group of seniors have had a different head coach majority of the high school career, and this year was looking like a good start. And it's not a bad start, but we hit some early trouble. About third game of the season, we lost our best player. Statistically our best player, Connor Miller, who is reigning Regional Player of the Year. She tore a knee against Statesboro, and that sent us into a downward spiral. We went 2-6 after that, just trying to figure ourselves out, and since then we've been 6-1.
So you mentioned this is only the second year that the girls have had the same head coach, and that y'all are doing pretty well this year. So what kind of records did the girls have before having this kind of continued coach?
And they've been competing. They're just usually finishing third and fourth in the region. Last year we had a chance to win the region. It came to be a three-way tie between us, Bryan, and Metter, and flipping those games put us in third place. But each year they've always been competitive. Outside for the boys are always going to make playoffs because there's only 4 boys teams in the region. The girls is 5 or 6, and it's usually the last team is out. So we've consistently made it to the playoffs. The best year they had was the seniors group's freshman year. They made it all the way to Elite 8, and they're looking to do that again this year. We had very high hopes. Once we came to recovering and getting better and starting to put pieces together, we played Scriven, who's been the #1 team in the state ranked, and we beat them in a close game. Last year was insane. Like, we beat them last year as well, but that game was a 6-7 type game. 6-7.
Right.
How that goes. And we won that game. This year, it was 1-1. We had to beat them in overtime.
Wow. So you said Scriven is the #1 team in the region?
In the state.
In the state?
Yes.
Wow. So do you think that that's going to kind of go over into the playoffs for y'all?
I think statistically this is the hardest region. Even though we're number 3 in our region, our top 3 are really, really good. Scriven, Portal, us. Okay. At one point in the season, Scriven was #1 in the state, Portal was number 4, and we were 11 and 12. I think we're the 10 or 11 now. But I try to keep my eyes off of that and just worry about where our goals going forward. I don't look at statistics more than I have to.
Okay. So what kind of advancements have you seen from the team from last year up until this year? I know you said you lost one of the girls, but other than that, what kind of you said you like to keep your eyes on the statistics, but statistical wise as well, what kind of advancements have you seen from last year to this year?
Well, we played our first game after losing Connor, and if you would have told me we would have lost that game with scoring 7 goals, I would have told you were crazy because she's our scorer, right? But we still lost the game, but we still scored 7 goals that game. And our girls are fighting, they're learning the situation. And I think the offense is a little better. Nothing against Connor, but now that there is more emphasis on Melissa and Izzy, everybody else has to do their job, making the whole team flow a little bit better.
So you would say that it was more of like fighting and overcoming thing?
Yes. Team statistically, they double team Connor, making us have to play one side of the field. Now that they don't know who our best player is, we've strategically changed formations to put pieces in places where people give us the best chance to win.
Now, how was the confidence of the team when your statistical best player goes down? How do you manage and deal with that?
We just got to teach it next man up, okay? You can't control injuries. You cannot. I didn't plan the season on winning based on Connor's statistics, okay? I planned the season based on what our team can do as a whole, okay? So losing Connor obviously put us in position to have to make some major changes, but it wasn't we're just going to surrender the rest of the season kind of vibe. Everyone else fought and figured out. I got a great group of young ladies, okay? It starts with the leadership of Carly Garrison for one, Belinda Atchun, and I have a really good, strong sophomore, Melissa Atchun, who's going to be in the running for Regional Player of the Year this year.
So you would say probably your motto for this season is overcoming adversity.
Overcoming adversity. And our shirts say we do everything with a purpose. Okay, everything you do with a purpose. There needs to be a purpose behind your passes, behind your shots, when you're playing defense. What is your purpose? Just going out there and kicking the balls and don't get it done. That's just how everything in life works. If there's no purpose behind your intention, you're not going to be successful.
So you mentioned overcoming adversity as the motto of your team. So what does overcoming adversity mean to you?
Oh, that's easy. So I will start with my grandma. My grandma introduced me to sports a long time ago. I want to say I remember my first football game being at the age of 4. And I love football, okay? I really fell in love with it in 1999 when the Falcons beat the Minnesota Vikings and to get the Super Bowl. Eventually lost, but that's when I fell in love with the sport. But prior to that, I had 4 surgeries before I was in school.
Wow.
Because I had an issue with my legs. They never knew what it was. They treated it as cerebral palsy, but it was not cerebral palsy, so that I keep cut my Achilles. But my family did me a great deal by never making it a problem, okay? We never talked about it. I went to the doctor, I had my surgeries, I did my rehab, and we just kept going with it. Went to school, it was never an excuse for me not to be normal. So for a long time, I didn't understand what kids were picking on me about until I got to high school, actually, where coaches were recording film and I could see it on TV. And at that point I knew, okay? And I had 2 options, right? I could either realize that and quit, or I can figure out what puts me in the best situation to still compete. And that's what I've always done. So as a person going through this, I try to advocate kids, you cannot control everything in life, okay? You gotta sit up and fight at the end of the day and figure out what's the best thing for you. You're not out here trying to please anybody else. You gotta have self-satisfaction.
And have you seen that speech play out in any of your kids either this year or last year?
At points, okay? Not in a direct view. But I see it outside of soccer. Kids will tell me, I can't give up because my coach don't give up, right? And I've never told kids that directly, but it's something they've understood. Going back to middle school basketball, coaching football back at Statesboro Elementary, I've been that person and not even intending to be that person.
So with all that being said, what is your hope for the team overall as y'all enter playoffs in the next couple of weeks?
I have high hopes. I didn't mention earlier, I have a new goalie. The last 4 years we had the same goalie, so this year was a stretch by finding a new goalie. And what I did was find the best athlete in the school, Jada Jordan. In the first couple of games she struggled, and it wasn't because she couldn't do the job. She's never touched a soccer ball before, so understanding to read the shots and things like that were a struggle. And go back again, we lost to Scriven County the first game of the season against them, 7-5, 7-4, somewhere along those lines, and we didn't have her as goalie. That second game was 1-1. She was our goalie. She impacts the game. She makes our defense better. And now that our girls are playing more cohesively in the middle, it really gives me an eye-opening. I hope that we can get at least to the Elite 8. I really believe that these girls actually have a chance to win state, but it's going to take an attitude to get there more than just our skill.
So beyond this year, if you are the girls' coach next year, or maybe you already know, what do you hope to see from them, regardless if you're head coach, what do you hope to see for them next year?
What I am advocating for right now is I'm advocating to combine the middle school and the high school team together. Not as a team, but in a practice standpoint. So whoever the middle school coach is now part of my staff, and we practice together. That way, when kids get here, they're ready to play. Okay, even as freshmen. And that's what's taking a lot of time. The freshmen that here, they got a lot of skill. But in middle school, it's just you got to be the better athlete to score and play soccer. When the high school physicality got to them, they were struggling a little bit and had to get used to it. So if I can combine the programs together and start training them together, culturally in Claxton, there's a lot of natural skill because soccer is loved by a lot of people here. It is my job to teach scheme. So if you allow me to do that by going ahead and having both teams together, that way I have 3 coaches, 1 coach on defense, 1 coach with midfield, and 1 coach with forwards, and they get the same amount of high school training. By the time they get to high school, they're ready to go. We're now a solidified program.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time interviewing with me. I wish you all the best. Is there anything you'd like to add?
All right, make sure you show up. Go Tigers.